Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Worship Sound Co. podcast. I am Jesse Phillips. I'm here with my friend Johnny Miller, and we are joined today by a very special guest, HW from Tone Junkie TV.
Well, hello there.
Thanks for coming and joining us on the show today. For those people who might not know you for some reason, they've been living under a rock for, the past few years. Can you give like a little overview of you, what Tone Junkie TV is, and why in the world we would want you on our podcast?
Well, I have no idea, but no, thanks for having me anyway. I've been listening. Yeah, so Tone Junkie and I got started with Tone Junkie. I started Tone Junkie just when I moved to Nashville. Some guy played a Kemper near me, and I went, holy cow, that sounds like a record. And so then, as I do with a lot of things, I got a little obsessed, started playing Kemper a bunch, started capturing a bunch of amps, bought a couple floral shirts, and the rest is history. And so now I'm on a mission to profile the world. I don't know if anyone can do that.
Got to catch them all, So when I first met you, you had just moved from California.
Well, I used to work in marketing, and I moved out here to open an office for my family's company. They sold something very boring, like, uniforms and stuff. So I moved out here for that. I met you, Jesse, at my church, and man, I think I landed here, and like I never even heard people like call out numbers before. Like I knew how it worked, but I was not like prepared for, you know what I mean? Like just like someone writing a song on the stage while you're trying to play it, or just yelling out, which where we were at. That was the style at the time. What are we playing? I don't know. You'll find out once it starts. And so that was fun. That makes you grow as a player. Now I feel used to that. But I came out here for work, man. And then, like I said, discovered a bunch of just tone heads, like myself. And that was shortly after that. I mean, a week or two after that, probably that we met, was the experience I had dragging in my whole amplifier, all my pedals. I mean, I had a Sir guitar. I had like a Sir amp. I had the Strifecta on my board, all three. I had a King of Tone, and I had there wasn't a real Klon, but there was some other trendy Klon thing on there. And I started playing, sounded like an SM57. And then the guy I was playing with started playing, and I thought the stem started. I thought they started the track, and I just double took. And I was like, what is that? And he was playing a Kemper. Now, he was playing some Strymons too, but I was like, whoa, show me what that's about. And that was that's how so very quickly I landed in Nashville and got converted to the world of digital.
Yeah. So one thing Johnny and I have kind of discussed is like, this digital versus analog debate that's been going on basically any guitar forum that you could possibly join. People are like, digital is the way to go, analog's the way to go, and they're willing to fight and lay down their lives for what they think. And so me and Johnny have our own like opinions of things, and we can get into that too. But we kind of wanted to start by just asking you, like, what does digital versus analog mean to you, Jonathan? And like, how does that play into the debate?
So I'll say my perspective is this. The cake is a lie. So sound is in your head. And sound is like something your brain tells you is good or bad or tells you about, it's like air. You can't see it. We say you can hear it. That really means it translates through these like microphones on the sides of your head. And then your brain tells you something about that. And it gives you a lot of information. It gives you, if you hold your hand in front of your face, you without being taught, something's very close to you. And when something echoes or is dark, it's far away. So to me, the important thing is what sound tells you and what the sensation is. And if you recognize that, it's just waves, it's just vibration in the air that gets picked up and translated by you, then to me, there's really no reason to think that the way you create those waves could really even be intelligible at some point. Now, are we there yet? That's a question, and how close do things get? But in terms of just sound creation, my take is there's no such thing as tube warmth. There's only a difference in EQ. There's no such thing as digital harshness. There's only a difference in EQ. Now, and maybe the gear out there doesn't do a good enough job of capturing the things that tubes do. And tubes do all these wonderful things. They compress in ways we like. They break up in ways we like. They amplify, and they do all these like really nice things as you get them going. And so they're super useful. And digital's job, I think, right now is to emulate that. Whether it does a good job or not is up to the individual piece of gear and you. But is there inherently some reason that an analog piece of gear or one technology could be better than another? I don't think so. That's my take as a guitar player. And I am not like an all digital guy. I mean, I have a collection of vintage amps and old guitars, and I'm a lover of just all things tone. So to me, it's not even one or the other. It's both and.
Oh, dude, that's some Matrix kind of stuff you're talking about with like your ears and perception, and totally makes sense though, and kind of gives a different perspective to the debate.
What do you think then, from knowing what you know already and seeing what you've seen in the last few years, what do you think are the next trends or developments in digital modeling world?
I think the biggest trends are you're going to see more people move to a capture type tech, and we're already seeing that. So right now the landscape is modeling primarily. And so someone sits at a computer and creates a digital replica of what they think an AC30 sounds like, what they think a reverb should sound like. And we have some other technologies that have been out there, like IRs have been able to capture spaces and reverbs and stuff. And then eventually they started being used in short forms for guitar speakers. And they're really good for that because guitar, speakers are impulse responses too. It's just a physical, like analog way of getting it is an impulse response. It's a type of impulse response. So in terms of trends, it looks like people are already moving towards more the Kemper style of things. What makes the Kemper unique is that it has this capture quality where you might think of it as it has only one model inside, and then the profiling process changes all these parameters you can't see that makes that one model sound like anything. So there's a new company. Well, there's Neural, who's they make Neural DSP. They make plugins and stuff. They have a hardware unit coming out that has a capture tech. There's another company called Axe Effects that has modeling, but they have an EQ matching, which kind of makes it similar to a capture tech. And then I bet Line 6 working on some sort of capture tech. I know they're working on Helix too. They were kind of saying that at NAMM, but who knows when it's going to come out. But in terms of overall trends, I mean, we mentioned like digital effects. Digital effects, I think, are going to prove to be the Trojan horse to the purist, meaning like keyboards in the late 70s, early 80s were willing to go like electric because you can't carry a B3 and a grand piano and everything. It's just impossible, right? So if you want more sounds, you got to do this. Bassists kind of went there. And if you've ever like moved an SVT cab, like you get why. Guitar players have been able to just get smaller and smaller amps and kind of go that way. But I think what's happening overall is people are trusting digital more. And you have companies like Strymon that, they started completely with reverbs and delays. And even actually before Strymon, Damage Control, didn't they have tubes built into their digital? Yep. So that was their like origin story, right? And I think they even came from Line 6, right? And then created Damage Control. We're putting tubes in there. And then Strymon kind of set the tone for all-in-one big box effects that are like studio quality. And then even they are now getting into the amplifier modeling world. So it feels like all this digital stuff has been a slippery slope, and that's a trend I see.
And that leads me to another question. I mean, so speaking of impulse responses and cabs and things like that, so what do you think of the new Kemper cabinet?
I really dig it. I think it's great. It's a step in the other direction, right? It's like it's addressing the pain point of like, okay, we've gone digital and our direct sound is good, but how do I get my digital unit to sound like my amp when I'm in the room, which is a sensation players want. I don't want to play in headphones. I don't want to play through an FR studio monitors. I miss an amp in front of me. And that's like a romantic thing that it's funny watching digital try to then like go almost a little backwards.
Hey, thanks for listening to part 1 of this podcast. We'll have episode 2 up pretty soon, but in the meantime, go check out tonejunkiestore.com. That's HW site with all his worship performance packs and Kemper stuff, and that's junkie with an IE. So tonejunkiestore.com, and follow us on Instagram at Worship Sound Co. We'll have content up there, and we love engaging with the community of worship players. If you have any questions or anything for future podcasts or topics, we'd love to hear it. Also, feel free to like and subscribe and all that other stuff that people say. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.